Hello Exiles, this is Fusion Gaming and welcome to my series on how to get through the acts faster. Today we're going to be going through Act 8. Now Act 8 is regarded as, to some people, one of the longest acts to go through, just because there is quite a few zones that you do have to traverse, and there are in total around about 14 zones that you do have to go through. So we're going to run through them very quickly now. So the first thing you're going to enter is the Sarn Ramparts. The first tip for the Sarn Ramparts is literally just run straight sideways to the east until you hit this wall. Then literally just run along the wall. If you don't want to kill anything and you just want to get through this zone, then stick to the wall. Then the wall will curl round on the corner like this, and then as you follow the wall down, you should then see a door a little bit further down, and there's your door. Now the door will then take you upstairs, and you'll then run along the same path that you've just been along, but on the top of the wall instead. So all you want to do is again run all the way back along the wall in the way you've just kind of come, but on top of the wall, until you get to a set of stairs that go downstairs here, and this will then take you to the Sarn encampment. Next zone after the Sarn encampment, you will need to go west. So as soon as you go into town, if you then go west down here, there's nobody to speak to in terms of they won't give you anything. Go down here to the Toxic Conduits. Now there is a little tip for this area, but sometimes it doesn't spawn and sometimes it does, so let's just have a quick check. Now on this occasion it hasn't spawned, however sometimes when you spawn into this zone there is a little green splodge of like goo on the floor here. So it's either going to be here on this side or it would be here on this side. Depending on which side of the circle that splodge is on, that is the direction that you would go. Now navigationally, I have had this area go up and south, so it's a case of that sometimes you are just going to have to just, if the splodge is there, then I would use that. If it's not there, then I would just run through the area. When you get to big rooms like this is usually when I know that I've gone the right way, because then usually then just go straight right. When you get to the fence, which is right here, this fence here, if you have a movement skill like Flame Dash, Frost Blink, anything like that, you would be able to traverse through this wall. So literally put your mouse on the other side and you would be able to go around it without having to walk all the way around like that. The next area is Doedre Cesspool. Now in Doedre Cesspool, the way that I usually do it is I usually go down to this junction here, and then I usually go in a southwest direction, and I usually follow the path. There is usually only a one-way direction that you will go, and you literally just kind of follow the path. So we're just going to follow this and see where it takes us. Again, I'm going to follow it going south, and then we're going to go. I'm stuck. Okay, I was stuck then. I'm going to keep on going south, and here we go. Now when you get to this point here and you see this three directional path, this is the end of the zone pretty much. You will then get to the door, which is the loose grate, and as you can see here, it was just straight south in terms of like a southeast direction. Go in here to the cauldron, and then this is where you would then take on Doedre again. Once you've killed her, you can then move on into the sewer outlet. You can pick up the waypoint, and then in terms of speed, what I usually do is I usually go right first. Okay, just because it doesn't really matter. You can go whichever way you want. It's entirely your preference, but personally, I like to go right first. Okay, just because that is a bit of a longer zone and I like to just get it over and done with. So you'd follow the path round. There is only a one-way direction here. You cannot, unfortunately, dash through this grid. Trust me, I try it every single league just to see whether they may have patched it, but like the grid in the zone above, you cannot pass through it. Once you then get to the quay, you would then go through this zone. Now the tip with this zone is I usually go towards the sea. So go along here, so right near the sea is, and then I usually follow this along. Now obviously when you see boats like this, go along the boats. Once you get to the side again, to a main coastline, then follow the coastline again, go back to where you were. Now what we're looking for is an archway that looks like this. See this archway here? Now when you see this archway, you want to go across it and you want to pick up the ankh that will drop from this chest. Once you've picked up the ankh, and 9 times out of 10, by the way, the archway is always facing this direction. So it's usually down just straight southeast, and it's usually always going in this direction. Okay. Once you've done that, you then want to carry on going in the same direction that you were going, southeast, and you want to try and now find Clarissa. Now, she usually is again right down in the bottom corner, so you just want to kind of head in a southerly direction and you will get there. So we're going to head across this. When you are greeted with a brick wall in front of you, you will know that you are going the right way. Now, what I mean by that, I will show you when I get there. This wall here, see this wall here? This is the wall. When there's a little passageway here, this is the room, and inside here is the resurrection site. Now this is where you would come in and you would give Clarissa the ankh I can't remember, it's the ankh of eternity. Once you've done that, you would then give it to her and it would then unlock. You would then have to kill the zombies around the room, and you would then need to kill Tolman, who is here. Once you've done that, if you then go back to town, Clarissa will then give you a skill point for Act 8. Once you've done that, come back out of the door, and you now need to backtrack. Now what you need to do is you need to look for another way, another passageway to go, which from what I can tell is right here. There we go. It's another way to go. It's usually to the right of the door. So if you follow this, you're then looking for another door that's called the Grain Gate. So we'll go across the bridge and there's your door. Now there is, in the Grain Gate, there is quite an easy navigational tip for you. And some people could navigate this zone for quite some time. However, in this zone there is a skill point called the Gemling Legion. They are a bunch of black guards. So they're like guards that are dressed in black. So if you run through this zone, if you see a archway with a black guard dead on the floor, like this guy here, can you see him? He's had his lovely head decapitated. If this is outside the archway, then that is the direction that you need to go. That is basically telling you that the Gemling Legion is in this direction. If there is no black guard outside the door, then you are not going the right way. So for example, this one, there is nothing there. There's no guards, there's nothing. Let's carry on. Let's carry on, look for another archway. However, this one, if I just zoom in here, can you see this black guard here dead on the floor? So we now know that this is the way to go. So we'll run through here, and I'm gonna then anticipate that this will then open up into the big arena. Now you're looking for a buck. There's your buck. And these big guys here that you can see, I'm not going to trigger them just yet, but just so you can see them with the blue circles all on their chests, that's the Gemling Legion. You will usually know when you find them because you will see this buck on your map. So I'm just going to go forward, activate them. You have to kill all of them. Once you've killed them, you then need to go back to town and you will then get another skill point for that. Carrying on, once you've killed these, by the way, you then want to head in a northeast direction. Again, look, another tip for you. Look at the doorway here. There's another black guard that's dead at the archway. Follow the archway straight through. Go in an easterly direction and you will then meet the door for the Imperial Fields. Once you get in the Imperial Fields, follow the path until the path ends. So you'll run up here, you can pick up the waypoint if you want, which is usually a little bit further up. There's your waypoint. Carry on going until the path ends. Now when the path ends, see the path is still going, stop. There's the path ended. You'll be met with like a fence on the floor. Can you see it there? When it ends, you want to carry on going in the direction that the actual pavement was going in. So carry on going in this direction. So imagine the pavement was still here and just keep on going. You'll then notice that the floor will change from being grass to being tiled, and you now have these curtain figures, these red curtain figures and gold lions. Here will be the door for the Solaris Temple level 1, just next to them. Now in the Solaris Temple level 1, yeah, it's one of them zones where, again, it's up to you how you want to navigate it. Some people like to follow the carpet. Some people like to head in a certain direction. Usually you can kind of get a feel for the zone. It is usually only a one-way direction. There is a waypoint in this zone, which is usually around about halfway through the zone, which we should be coming to in the next few seconds. What's that? That's the Solaris Concourse. Now if you get to the Solaris Concourse, you've gone too far. At this point, backtrack, and it's going to be this route instead. Yes, and there's the waypoint. Now let's just say, for example, you came to this zone and we had reset this zone by accident. The easiest way to navigationally get out of here is if you look at this table here. Can you see that there is a tray here with 3 teacups and 4 cups? Always go in the direction of the 4 teacups. Okay, so there's 4 on the left hand side of the tray, so we are going left. Now obviously we know that this is the direction because we've just literally entered this zone, so we know. But let's say you entered this zone, let's say you needed to go bathroom, or let's say you needed to go to bed. You got to this zone and you was tired and you wanted to go to sleep. When you come back in the morning, that area will be reset and you won't know which way to go. Follow the 4 teacups. Once you get to level 2, again, it's very similar to the Solaris Temple level 2 in Act 3. A gentleman gave me a tip and said that if you go down here and it decides to start going back on itself, then that is usually the way that you go. So we're going to just try it out. He said that if it starts to come back on itself, follow it, because that is 9 times out of 10 the way that you need to go. And would you look at that? He was right. So well done to the guy who commented that. So here we go. We now go through the portal. We would then kill the sun orb, the monster for the sun orb. It will then drop the sun orb, but it won't drop for me because I've already done it. At this point, you can then take a portal back to town, and you can then get a skill point. 1 for the Love is Dead, which is killing Tolman, and 1 for the Gemling Legion. Then you have then now done this entire right side. If you then go back to the Toxic Conduits, and in this time go left, you can pick up the crafting recipe that's there, follow this round, and you are then going to the Grand Promenade. Now within the Grand Promenade, it sometimes goes up and it sometimes goes right. This one on this occasion is going up, but it will always start to turn right. It always has to, because of the way that the tile set is made. There we go. There's your turn right. You will know you're going in the right direction when you cross a bridge that will have like a fence on it, but the fence looks a bit tired and a bit beaten up. When you hit that fence and you hit that bridge, you know that you are going in the right direction. And this is the bridge. Can you see the fence here? It looks a bit battered and worn. Yep, that's when you know you're going in the right direction. This zone is quite linear in respects of that. As long as you stay on the ground floor, you usually can't go wrong, until you get to the point where the actual river is blocking your pass. That is when you are at the end of the zone, which is this bit here where the water is. If you have a movement skill, you can actually jump over there. So if you had leap slam, flame dash, anything like that, you would be able to jump over, so you didn't have to run around like that. You would then get to the bathhouse. In the bathhouse, it is imperative that you get the waypoint. It's very important. Okay, then run through, take the second left. So second left is here. So that was, so that this wasn't really a left, this was just like a little inlet. So it's your first left really. First left into the door. There is a gentleman in here. If you want to kill him, you can do, but you don't get anything for it. There is the wings of Vastiri that will drop from this, but again, you won't get anything for it. So what I mean by that is you won't get any skill points. Okay. What I usually do from this room, I use this room as a bit of a navigational tool. I usually go top left corner. Now, if I start to see the trial, then I would obviously go and do the trial. But what that then means is the door for the High Gardens, which is the next zone, which is here, would be on the opposite side. So because the door is here on the left hand side, that means that I know that the trial is in the top right corner. These two can switch places. So you may have High Gardens here, trial over there, or you may have trial here and High Gardens over here in terms of the door. They can swap places, but it's navigationally always top left, top right. So just head in one of those directions and you will then, you'll need to do them both anyway because you will need to do the trial. This zone is very linear. Best advice I can give you is stay on the ground floor until you see, I think it's two big lions. I think there's two big lion statues. So we're just going to scream through this zone because it is very linear. You have to be careful in here because there is the introduction. There is a lot of porcupines. Porcupines will explode and they will fire spikes at you, and those spikes will hurt. So you may have many deaths. If you decide to destroy an entire pack, you may just get one shot. So be careful in this zone. Here's your lion. So there's one lion there, there's one lion there, and there's like also a bit of a trestle here with like a bit of an archway, 3 archways. When you get to this point, go upstairs and we're going to the Pools of Terror. This is your final skill point in Act 8. So if you want that, you do need to kill Yugal, which is this big guy. He is a phased boss, so once you've killed him or phased him once, he will then spawn around about 10 more enemies, kill all of those, and then he will then come back again. There's phase 2. He will do that again and spawn another 10 enemies, and then he will then come back after that for you to then be able to kill. Like that. Nope. Like that. Now that he's dead, at this point, take your waypoint at the bathhouse. This is why it was crucial that you took that waypoint, because if you miss it, then you are going to have to run all the way back through the Grand Promenade again, which is a long way to run. Once you get back to the waypoint, if you navigate back to that room where the big guy was, in here, and instead go right this time, and over here on this top wall will always be the opposite of whatever was in the other corner. So here's the trial. Okay, so this is the trial that obviously you would need to do in Act 8. That is the only trial that you need to do in Act 8. Okay, there's no other zones. Once you've done the trial, you want to start heading in a southeast direction, down, 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 till you get to this nice big square, and there will be a door for the Lunaris Concourse. Once at the Lunaris Concourse, you literally want to run straight forward till you hit your first set of stairs, go up the stairs, you want to pick up the waypoint, and then you want to make sure that you do pick up this waypoint because we are going to need it later, and then carry on up the stairs. You don't need to kill anything. There's no quest rewards. There's no skill points in here. So if you want to speed through this zone, just kill the odd pack every now and then and carry on going. Once you get up the last set of stairs, you will notice that the floor will change like this. It'll change black and there will be a door either in front of you or to your right. It can change direction. Once you get to the Lunaris Temple level 1, I usually follow the carpet. Now, this is entirely personal preference, but this usually you cannot really lose with this one, and it will take you to a room where there is usually a load of benches on either side. And again, follow the carpet. So then the carpet is going down. Keep following the carpet, and it should then take you to this room here. And at this point, when you get to this big room, you want to start heading in a westerly direction, and you should then be met with the waypoint very shortly. Have I gone the wrong way? No, I've not gone the wrong way. Keep heading west. There we go. Pick up the waypoint and head downstairs to the Lunaris Temple level 2. Once downstairs on the Temple 2, this is very similar to the Lunaris Temple level 1. Lunaris Temple level 2, in Act 3. And again, do you remember when I said about the stairs? The stairs usually all face the same direction. So first of all, we need to find the first set of stairs, which obviously there is no navigational help. So here we go. So here's the first set of stairs. So I know what direction is this. This is like what? Northwest? I know that the next two set of stairs technically should face both northwest. So we want to keep going in this direction till we find another turn. Now, because the map has changed here, it may not do this. It may go north instead. Nope. Yes, it has changed. So now it's going north instead. This is one of those occasions. Remember when I said sometimes it can change one of the paths? It may change the second one as well, just because of the way that the map is facing. Or it may go the same direction again. Yeah, so it's gone 2 north and 1 was west. So that means that the first one was obviously the different one. There's only one of them that will change. Okay. Now, do you remember when I did Act 3, I told you that there was 2 carts on this side and 1 cart on this side. Now, when you get to this act, it's not the same in terms of there's no carts. There is 2 carts here, but you don't use those. On the back wall here, can you see there's a vase of grapes? There's 2 on one side and 1 on the other side. So, as per Act 3, you always go in the direction of the one vase, and you just want to follow that direction all the way. So we get to the door. So now again, like Act 3, if the door's facing this way, I'm going to guess that the door's going to be facing in exactly the same direction. So I'm just going to stay in this direction, and there's your door. So that's still the same. So that's like I said. Then the other door is on the back wall. Follow up the stairs all the way around. Again, if you have a movement skill, you can traverse from here to here, follow it all the way up, go to the portal, and you want to kill the moon, the harbinger of Lunaris, and he will then drop the moon orb. Once you've picked up the moon orb, you can then go back to town and then continue. Once you get back to town, the next thing that you want to do is you then want to use the waypoint, and you want to go back to the Lunaris or the I usually go from the Lunaris Concourse. Now there is a waypoint in the Solaris Concourse. Now I don't usually go that way, and I never usually touch that zone, but it's entirely personal preference if you want to navigate through that zone. What you want to do from the waypoint from the Lunaris Concourse, you literally just want to head in a kind of a south. What direction would you say that is? Hold on one second. So it's that way. So it's like a easterly direction, but it's down the map, and you want to get to the door at the bottom, which is the Harbour Bridge. Harbour Bridge, I love this zone, and sometimes I can run this quite a few times to get a few levels. However, because the next zone after this is probably one of the best zones for leveling, if you want to get a few quick levels, I usually will fly through this zone very quickly. You get down, straight down. It's literally a one-way road, straight down all the way to the middle. Once you get to the Sky Shrine here, you can then go in and put your moonstone, moon orb and sun orb into the actual statue. And these 2, Lunaris and Solaris, will then appear, and you have to then fight them. This fight can be quite challenging depending on your level and depending on your skills, and also depending on your resistances. Once you've killed them both, they will then unlock the passageway for the Blood Aqueducts, which is then the first zone within Act 9, which I'm going to stop once I get to the waypoint. What I would recommend is, if you haven't, when you went back earlier, when you killed the moon orb for the Lunaris temple, and you had to go back, or even once you killed Yugal and you had to go back to town to use the waypoint to go back to the bathhouse, go and hand your quest point in so you can get your next level skill point for killing Yugal in the High Gardens. That is the end of the video for now. That is the whole of Act 8. It's a very... I like the zone. It's very easy navigationally, but again, some people hate it because they feel like it lasts forever, because you have to go through all of the zones to get to the Solaris, and then you have to go through all of the zones to get to the Lunaris, so it's a bit of a pain. But for now, that's all the videos done. What I would like to do is, if anyone has any feedback, or if there's anything that they know about the zones which I've not already mentioned, or if there's any content that they would like for a future upcoming video that they are not aware of, that they have never seen on YouTube, or maybe they need a little help with something very specific or very particular, then put it in the comments and I will then add it to a future build video. Until then, until we speak again, thank you for watching, stay sane, and I appreciate your time.